friends, my name is Jessica and welcome to my channel. Today we are sewing the As You Wish by Kdill Handmade. This is for the marathon series. We have monthly sew-alongs for the Marathon Society, and this month we are featuring Kathy from Kdill Handmade, and it is the As You Wish bag. It's just, this is so cute. This is the first time that I've made this. I know. I should have made this a very long time ago, but we've got a really cool lining here. All right, so right here, I'll show you off the bat, there is a slip pocket, and then you have your interior. There is a zipper pocket. I did a drop-in lining method, so there's nothing being pulled through or birthed or anything like that. And then we have another slip pocket in the front. I have a magnetic snap. You could use a turn lock if you would like. That is totally up to you. I love the gusset accent here, and then the rivets. I think that looks so cool. So, and then my panel. I used an embroidery file here. I will try to remember to link where I got that down below, but I did get it off of Etsy. And then in the back we have the zipper, a zipper pocket, and then with the lining here. The lining I did get from Fabric Therapy along with the black and white striped glow-in-the-dark vinyl. That's also Fabric Therapy. The interior is a waterproof canvas, and the black vinyl is from Mormino. So all of my hardware is from Saya Swag. I just absolutely love the way this came out. So, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. Oh, besides thanking Kathy. So thank you, Kathy, for allowing us to use your pattern in today's video. It's amazing. I love it. I can't wait to make more. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, let's go over the pattern pieces. We have pattern piece A, which is our front flap. I will be doing a reverse applique on mine. I got this file off of Etsy. I will try to remember to put this in the description. And then I've got this vinyl from Fabric Therapy. It is glow in the dark. And then I have a piece of Decoville Light that I will apply after this has all been put together. All right, and then for pattern piece B, we have the body. You'll need 2 cuts for your lining and then 2 for your exterior. This is waterproof canvas. I got it from Fabric Therapy. I think it's called Horrific Holidays. And then we have pattern piece C, which is the front slip pocket. You'll need 1 lining and 1 exterior. The black is a vinyl. It's pretty thick, so I don't have them interfaced. The only thing I interfaced was the gusset, and then I'll do the flap. And then pattern piece D is for the lower back pockets. You'll need 1 cut for lining and then 1 cut for your exterior. This black vinyl is from Mormino. You'll need 1 cut of pattern piece E, which is your back pocket lining. And then you'll need 1 cut for your full lining panel, which is pattern piece F. Pattern piece G is your gusset. I have 2 cuts for this. So I've got my exterior, and then I have my lining piece. And then I believe this is optional. This is the strip that is going to go right down the center of the exterior of your gusset. You can add rivets here if you'd like to. Again, that also is optional. We have pattern piece H, which is that zipper overlay. You'll need a non-fraying material for your overlay. I have pattern piece I, which is 2 pieces for your zipper tabs. And then you have your pattern piece J, which is your interior zipper pocket panels. You'll need 2 cuts of that. you'll need 2 zippers. They are 2 different sizes. Make sure you check the instructions for that. And then you'll need webbing. There are different sizes of webbing that you'll need if you're going to be doing it the way that it's written in the pattern. So make sure you check that out. All right, I've got all my hardware here. I'm going to be using triangle rings instead of rectangle rings. That'll be used on the gusset. And then your 2 swivel hooks, and then you'll need an adjuster bar for your strap. And then I don't have rectangle rings, so I figured I do have these 2. So I'm going to go ahead and just use these for my strap. I think it'll be just fine for that. And then you'll need 2 zipper pulls. These are number 5 zipper pulls. Some rivets if you'll be using those. Magnetic snap. You could also use a turn lock here if you'd like, but I'll just be using a magnetic snap. And then I have these 2 labels that are cork. They're custom from the Heartwood and Hide. I really don't know which one I want to use just yet, so I have both just in case. And then I have this cute woven label from Carolina Little Stitches. I thought that would go well with this. And then I've got some tools that I'll be using. This is a little mini ruler. It is from Carolina Little Stitches. It's, I think it's 1/2 inch by 6 inches. It's very handy for those little markings that you need to make. And then I've got this tool that's for rivet placement. I figured I would go ahead and just bring them out. I'm not really sure which one I'll be using. More than likely probably this one, but those are from, again, Carolina Little Stitches. And then I've got some washers. This can be used with rivets or magnetic snaps instead of using like fusible fleece or Decoville or anything like that. You can use a washer instead. And then, of course, you'll need a hole punch. I'll be using this hole punch, and then I will be using a stapler for the gusset around the rounded corners. This is so handy when you are working with curves. Of course, you'll need a marking tool. This is a air erasing marking tool, a lighter for those threads, and then obviously I always need a seam ripper. I do not use the stiletto here, however, I like to use the screwdriver. And then I have a ton of clips. I know it's a huge bowl. I also like to use the hair clips, which are somewhere else. And then I think that's it. I think that's for everything. So of course you'll need your scissors and your thread. I'll be using Wizardry Stitchery thread today. It's this black and white. I love the variegated thread. It goes so well with everything. And I think that's it, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get to making the As You Wish. All right, so if you are new here, welcome. I just want to let you know that the sound you hear is snoring. It is my dog. It's not a human or anything. So she's always here. All right, the first thing I did was I went ahead and added zipper pulls to my zippers. Don't forget to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my gusset. And I already have double-sided tape on the back of this. I forgot to also mention that if you would rather use webbing for this, you'll need to obviously cut some webbing so that you can have it as your accent on the back of your gusset. I think it's going to be so cute. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and check the measurements to see what they need to be to have this accurate on here. I've already made my center marks as well on the gusset, and I've already got a center on my accent here. All right, so you'll also need to have your triangle rings or rectangle rings, whatever hardware you're going to be using here. This is where we're going to go ahead and place our hardware into this accent strip here. And there are measurements in the pattern that you'll need to refer to for those measurements. And I'm going to go ahead and apply double-sided tape down here at this raw edge on both sides. Also, I went ahead and made my marks on each side of the gusset on the shortest end. I have 3 marks, and that is because I have the center marked, and then I have 2 lines so that I can make sure to line up the edge of my bar here, or the edge of the fabric here, so it lines up nicely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and attach my accent on here. All right, so I attached my accent strip to the exterior of the gusset. I forgot to hit record on that. My apologies. But this is what it looks like right now. I have triangle rings here, and that looks really good. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the machine, and we're going to go ahead and stitch this on. We're going to come as close as you can to the rectangle rings, or whatever it is you use here on your hardware. And I'm just going to go along the edge at 1/8 of an inch on both long edges and come up on each side as close as you can get to your hardware here. Okay, and if you want to do the rivets on here for your accent, you can. There are instructions on how far apart you could do that. You can also add spikes here or anything you want. It'll look really cool. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this sewn on. All right, so this has been sewn on. Now is the time where you'll want to go ahead and add your rivets if you would like, and the measurements again are in the pattern. I am going to do the rivets all along the bottom strip here. However, I'll be doing that off camera because this is going to take a while to do. So again, if you're going to do the rivets, go ahead and follow the directions. All right, let's go ahead and add the rivets to this. All right, so I added the rivets on the whole gusset, and it looks really good. By the way, this black hardware is from Size Swag. I know I wanted to show how to use this in the video. However, I'm not comfortable with giving out the measurements, because if I'm using this to mark rivet placement, I'm also giving away measurements on here. So I'm not going to do that. So sorry about that, but these are really handy. This is a really good tool that you probably would use on every bag if you're using rivets, or if you are also doing magnetic snaps or anything like that. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. All right, so let's go ahead and move the exterior gusset to the side. So now you will grab your longer zipper. Make sure your zipper pull is on, because now we're going to go ahead and grab pattern piece I, which is our zipper tabs. And then we'll also be grabbing pattern piece D, your back lower panels, or your back lower pocket, excuse me. So your lining, and then your exterior. So we've got our zipper. It's going to be right side up, and you're going to go ahead and take your zipper tabs and you're going to lay them so that they are right sides down. So your zipper and your zipper tab should be right sides together. Okay, and we're going to do that on both of our ends here, and I'll clip those together. So again, right sides together. And then we are going to sew our edges together at the seam allowance that's given in the pattern. And then what we'll do after you sew that together is we're going to pull our zipper tabs and place them so they are now right side up. And then we will sew that edge at the seam allowance given in the pattern. Okay, so let's go ahead to the machine and get our zipper tabs sewn on to our zipper. All right, our zipper tabs are now attached to our zipper. So this is what it should look like. You'll have the raw edges here. There's nothing folding over those raw edges or anything that's just open. All right, so that's done. So now we're gonna go ahead and attach the zipper to our, oops, not the lining, to our main panel. Also, if you would like to add a label to yours, this is where you can do it if you like. You can add it somewhere else if you want. You can add it to the bottom if you want. It's totally up to you. I went ahead and grabbed my logo and placed it here. Now the measurement is in the pattern, but like I said, you can put it wherever you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and set the lining to the side for a moment. I marked the center of my zipper and also the center of the main panel here for the zipper pocket. All right, so you want to make sure that you have your zipper going in the direction that you prefer. I prefer to have my zipper, let me turn it around this way. I like to make sure that it is closing when pulled to the left and opening when pulled to the right. So like this. We're gonna lay this so that they are right sides together. I'm matching up my centers here, and we will go ahead and clip the top edge. All right, so you have a slight overhang with those zipper tabs. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that and clip them at the end. So you can go ahead and baste this on if you'd like. You can go ahead and attach your lining at this point, but I do prefer to go ahead and get the zipper placed first. So we'll go to the machine and go ahead and sew this together. All right, so the zipper is now attached. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab our lining piece and we're gonna lay this so that it's right sides down. The zipper will now be sandwiched in between the exterior and the lining piece. The exterior and lining piece should be right sides together, and we are looking at the back side of your zipper right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and find my centers, and I'm gonna go ahead and clip along that top edge, and then we will sew this at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And then once we do that, we will go ahead and flip this, and we'll pull the exterior and zipper away from the zipper, and then we will go ahead and top stitch along the edge here. I'll show you after we get this sewn on. All right, so our lining is now sewn on. Since I'm using waterproof canvas, I do like to just kind of fold right there where we have sewn. Get it nice and crisp. If you're using cotton, you could use an iron there if you'd like. So right now we are just pulling our material away from the zipper so that the exterior and the lining is now wrong side together. That looks pretty good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to top stitch right here along this edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, now this has been completed with our zipper. That's what it looks like on the inside here. So now we're going to go ahead and grab pattern piece E, which is the back pocket lining. I've already marked my centers. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and lay this so that it's right side down. Our lining pieces are right sides together. And then we are going to go ahead and clip along all of these edges here. So I'm just gonna take this lining piece and combine it with the other pieces and the clips, and then I will also clip this top edge here. It should line up and match your centers pretty good. Everything should line up here. So go ahead and clip around all your edges. All right, so this is what you should have right now. All right. Everything is together. It's fine if you have a little excess here. We can trim that down at some point, but it shouldn't be a problem. All right, so this looks good. And what we're gonna do now is we're going to actually baste all of these edges in place, including the top edge of the zipper here. Okay, so all edges are gonna be basted. Let's go to the machine and baste this down. All right, so this is the completed back zipper pocket panel. So now you unzip this, you have a pocket now. That looks really good. I love it with the black hardware and this green zipper. This is also from Sewciety. That looks really good. All right, guys. Next is to grab your flap. I need to work on mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the pieces for my flap. Okay, so I've got my pieces here, and what I need to do is I'm gonna set my Decoville to the side, and I think I want it like this. I think that looks pretty good. And then I will go ahead and sew this down, appliquing around this heart here. That looks really good. I like it. What do you think? Looks pretty good, right? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew this together and then trim off the excess material from this black vinyl here, and then I will go ahead and adhere my Decoville onto this panel. Here is my completed flap, which is pattern piece A. Now you're gonna go ahead and take that zipper pocket that you've already completed. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're going to, you can either lay this right side up or you can lay this right side up, doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and take the flap and lay it right side up. I'll turn it around. I know I have my camera angle upside down today. All right, so my pattern piece A is right side up. I'm gonna take my completed pocket over here, and I'm just going to clip those top edges. I'm gonna line up my center. You might have some of your, what are those called? The zipper tabs peeking out, and that's okay. We'll clip those off. Okay, so I have these clipped at the top edge, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew at the seam allowances given in the pattern. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip the flap panel up and away from the zipper, and then we're going to top stitch along the folded edge right here, okay? All right, so my flap is now attached to that completed zipper pocket here. I love the way that it looks. So if you bring this together just like this, you can kind of see what it's going to look like. There's the front and then the back. That looks so good. All right. The next step is going to be the magnetic snap, which is what I will be doing. You will need to have your pattern piece for this. I will be installing my magnetic snap off of the camera just because I don't want to give away any pattern piece or anything like that. So if you're also going to be doing the turn lock, there is a later step in the instructions that you'll want to pay attention to. So I'm going to go ahead and install my magnetic snap. All right, so this is the full lining panel. I put the male magnetic snap at the top of the full lining panel. Okay, don't put it on the bottom if you're doing a magnetic snap. It will be at the top because when you close it, it will close like this, okay? I went ahead and covered this with duct tape because I did use magnetic snaps with the prongs. So that is completed. So I'm going to go ahead and take this full lining panel, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the other completed panel with the flap. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and lay it so it's right sides together. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to clip, I'm going to go ahead and clip just the flap portion. Okay, we're not working on this bottom right now. It is only the top portion. So make sure you have your full lining panel and your flap lined up appropriately. And if it's a little off, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I am going to go ahead and clip starting here and come all the way around until here. So what's going to happen is we're going to sew starting here at this edge, and we're going to go up around this curve, and you're going to sew until you get back around to this curve. Okay, so we're not sewing down the sides here. You're only coming to the edge here. So go down the curve and come out just like you would on this side. You'll start at the curve and then you're gonna come up the curve, okay? And we're gonna sew that at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And then I think we will be turning this right side out. All right, so this all has been sewn together. I did turn this over and cheat a little bit. I just wanted to see if my stitches were coming through on the exterior, and they were, so I went ahead and sewn another row of stitching right on the outside of the stitches. So hopefully they don't come through and it relieves a little bit of pressure. Right now what we're going to do is grab some scissors. You can grab pinking shears if you'd like, and we're going to cut snips into these curves here, okay, all around here and then here. So let's go ahead and cut into our fabric here, but don't cut into your stitches. This is going to help this lay flat. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and reach in through here and carefully turn this right side out. You can grab some kind of a tool if you need to go around these edges to get them as flat as possible. I'm just going to kind of roll mine for right now. You can grab clips. Oh, no, those are paper clips. And you can clip those edges together if you'd like. A little bit of my lining is showing through all around the edge, but honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like piping. So I don't think I'm gonna roll that to make it not show. I kind of like that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and top stitch. We are gonna come from this edge only and go along the edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, and we're gonna come around and come off the edge here, just like we did when we sewed this together. All right, so let's go to the machine and top stitch. All right, so this is looking pretty good. If you are doing a turn lock, now would be your next step, so make sure you follow along in the instructions for that. I, however, did the magnetic snap, so I'm just going to set my flap to the side. Since I'm doing the magnetic snap, I am going to grab my pattern piece C, which is the front slip pocket, and then I'm going to grab my pattern piece. This is where I'm going to be installing the magnetic snap, the female end. So you'll want to go ahead and make sure that you grab your pattern piece C so that you can transfer the placement mark to the front side of your front slip pocket. So I will go ahead and get that installed off camera. All right, so the female end of my magnetic snap on my exterior slip pocket, pattern piece C is completed. So now you're going to grab your lining piece and then your exterior, which is again pattern piece C, and we're going to lay these so they are right sides together, and we'll go ahead and clip the top edge. We'll go ahead and go to the machine and sew this top edge at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, now that those pieces are sewn together, we're going to go ahead and make snips within that seam allowance. Try not to snip into your stitches, otherwise you'll have to go back and fix that. Again, this is just going to help everything lay flat and smooth. So we'll take this now and place them so they are now wrong sides together. I will be rolling my seams here, placing clips right along that top edge. So now we're going to go to the machine and we're going to top stitch this edge, okay? All right, we have our pieces sewn together. If you have dog ears, you can trim that off. All right, now it's time to go ahead and put our exterior together. So you'll keep this out and then we're going to go ahead and grab the exterior with our flap. And then you're going to go ahead and grab a main body exterior. Actually, just kidding, you need both of your main bag bodies here. I keep wanting to say body bag. That is not correct. So what we're going to do is you will take a main bag body and lay it so it's right side up. And you can take this outer slip pocket and lay this so that your magnetic snap or the turn lock is right side up. So your lining of the slip pocket should be against the exterior of your main body. Line up those edges down at the bottom and then clip together. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the space up at the top on both of your main body pieces are the same size so that they're not off when you sew the bag together. So let's go ahead and clip around all of your edges. So here's one side done. I will measure this top part after I have placed my other main body together. So you'll grab your other main body piece and we are going to take this and lay this the bottom of your exterior where the zip pocket is. Your flap is going to be facing the opposite direction. We're going to connect the bottom and I'll go ahead and clip around those edges. And again, we want to make sure the space up here is the exact same so that it doesn't look funny. Both of my pieces are clipped together at the bottom. I am going to go ahead and measure this real quick to make sure they are the same size. Remember, the top up here is what you want to check, okay? Okay. I had to adjust mine a little bit because they were not matching up, and that's fine. I am going to slide this to the center so I don't hit the zipper pull. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and baste all of this into place, okay? So we're just basting on both panels. Our main panels have now been basted together. Now it's time to work on the gusset. So I've got a ton of clips and then I will be using this stapler. It's a Tim Holtz. I got it from Amazon. I will be using it to attach the gusset around the curves so that nothing moves out of place. I'm going to go ahead and start with the exterior with the flap and set this one to the side for now. Okay, so I already marked my centers, so you'll want to mark the centers of your gusset on both sides and also mark the center of both of your exterior panels if you haven't done so already. I have the centers marked on all of my pieces. What we are going to do now is we're going to attach these so they are right sides together, okay? I will start clipping mine at the bottom. So I'll start clipping at the bottom where my centers are matching up. And I'll go ahead and work on my straight edge here. And then I'll work on the curve in a little bit. Okay, so now I have the straight edge clipped down the bottom. I'm going to pull the other side up to that top edge and start clipping, making sure those edges are lined up. I'm just going to put a few clips here down at the straight edge. Now I'll go on the other side and just bring that other side up to meet that edge and clip into place. Now we can go ahead and start working on the bottom. I am lifting this up and kind of pushing down on the gusset so that I can get a smooth edge right there. And then I will start using my stapler right at the edge there. I'm keeping this out of the seam allowance, so it's right on the edge. So when I'm at the sewing machine, I will have it face up like this and then start sewing all around the edge, being careful around the curves, making sure I don't hit any of these staples. However, they should be in the seam allowance, so I should not hit any of them. So we'll go on up to the top. So let's go ahead to the machine and sew this at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so I've got the gusset on one panel. I've already checked my corners. It looks really good. I'm so excited about this one. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to make snips into the corners. Also, I wanna mention that I did do a second row of stitching just because this is really thick and I don't want the stitches to appear on the exterior. So I put another row of stitching on the outside. Just to reduce some of the pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some scissors and just start snipping into these curves, and just don't hit any of your stitching. All right, so I've got snips all created in my corners here. We are going to go ahead and take our other exterior and we're going to lay it so it's right side down, and then match up your centers here. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing that I did to the other side. Match up my centers and go ahead and clip all my straight edges, and then I will be stapling into those corners. And then we'll sew it down at the seam allowance given in the pattern, and then we'll be done with our exterior. Okay. So the other side is now attached, stapled, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead to the machine and sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. I will be sewing with it down, and I'll be smushing everything as I go around the corners. And don't be afraid to smush it. It's okay. You can always iron it, or if you have vinyl like me, you can always use a hair dryer. So not a big deal. So let's go ahead and get the other side sewn on. All right, here we go. So I have completed the gusset. I went ahead and trimmed down the gusset, or not the gusset, but the seam allowance to half, and also snipped into my corners as we did before. Now we are going to carefully turn this so that it's right side out. Yeah, so do that carefully. This is probably gonna take me a minute. I forgot to mention, I will be doing the drop-in lining method for this. We will start working on the lining now, so I will leave my exterior right side out, which I think I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the instructions, but we'll start working on the lining now. All right, so next we are working on our lining pieces, and then we will be we'll be done. We're almost there. So you will need your shorter zipper. Make sure that you have your zipper pull attached before you move on. And then you'll need 2 of your bag bodies. Again, I almost called it body bag. No idea why I keep doing that, but your 2 body lining pieces, which is pattern piece B, and then you will need your interior zipper pocket panels, which is pattern piece J. You'll need both of those, and I will be doing the zipper overlay because I'm doing the drop-in lining method. If you are going to be pulling your bag through the pocket, then you'll want to go ahead and follow instructions on how to create your pocket. But with mine, we are going to go forward with doing the overlay. So I've got my zipper overlay here. And you want to make sure that this is cut out of something that is non-fraying material. And then I have this fun little tag to put underneath the woven label when we place it on. I got this from Carolina Little Stitches. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and set one of these to the side for now. And then I've already made my center marks, and I did that on both of my lining panels. So you probably want to go ahead and do that. Yeah, and also I will quickly make measurements on the back of my panels. That will be for the drop-in lining method. So I'll take care of that really quick and then grab the measurements for applying the zipper overlay. Oh, that's going to be really cute. All right, so I grabbed double-sided tape and I applied it on the back of my zipper overlay. I have the center marked on my zipper overlay. You probably can't see that, but I can see that. And then I have the center marked at the measurement that's listed in the pattern. So make sure that you check that out. So I want to make sure to line this up as straight as possible. There are measurements in the pattern also that will tell you how much space should be on each side of your zipper overlay, okay? Okay, so I will line up my center, and then I'm going to take a ruler because I want to make sure that this is centered and not like this, you know, crooked or anything. So I want to make sure that I place this right where it should be. And grab my ruler. So I'll be right back. So what I did, you probably can't see that, but I took a ruler and I just made a straight line so I can make sure to apply this straight. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the paper on that top edge here, and I'm going to meet my center marks. And then I'm going to press that down. Okay. And then now I'm going to line up that top edge with the line that I just made with my ruler. And you can take this off and apply it as much as you need to. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and lift up the other side of my zipper overlay and pull off the paper. And I'm going to lay this down carefully so that it is straight. I want to go ahead and take my little woven label and lift this up a little bit and put this in here. All right, so that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do is go to the machine and we are going to stitch the zipper overlay on the exterior edges only, not the interior box. Okay, so only the exterior at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then we'll come back and cut through this material here. So let's go to the machine and sew that zipper overlay on. All right, so my zipper overlay is sewn on. I left my threads long so that I can pull them to the back. That looks pretty good. Now, what we're gonna do, I like to take my material and fold it in half so that I'm kind of pinching the material that's behind this overlay now. And I'm going to take some sharp scissors and I'm just going to snip in here. Okay, we are going to start cutting the material that's behind that zipper overlay. I like to cut open a pretty big opening before I turn it over and start cutting on the back side. I prefer to cut it from the back so that I can see. You don't want to accidentally cut your stitches, and you don't want to accidentally cut your zipper overlay, and you also don't want to accidentally cut your woven label if you're putting one. Okay, so what we want to do is trim down this material as close as you can to your stitches without cutting your stitches and without cutting that zipper overlay. All right, so now we have an opening right here so that we can attach the zipper. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side and start working on that. I do this a little differently. I saw this on Lauren's channel, Lauren Mormino. So I'm going to do it that way. I do want to make sure I've got my zipper going the right direction. I prefer to have it close when being pulled to the left and open when being pulled to the right. So I'm going to turn this around real quick. So I'm going to lay it, my material right side up, and then my zipper will be right side up, and these should match up. All right, so let's go to the machine and baste this zipper on. So what I like to do is I like to take this and fold the seam like so. And then I will stitch at 1/8 of an inch here. I stitched this zipper on at 1/4 inch. I was gonna baste it, but then I forgot. I do 1/4 inch, and then I will go ahead and sew this at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. While I'm here, I'll go ahead and place this right side up, and I'm gonna take this, since it's folded, my zipper will be right side up, and I'll go ahead and match up that top edge and clip it together. So I will go sew this together at 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then after I do that, I'll be doing the same thing, folding it back, and then I'll stitch right here at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance on both sides so it'll be open like this. Okay? Okay, so this is what I've done. Okay? So it lays nice and flat. That's the inside. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay this so that it's wrong side up, but I'm looking at the right side of the zipper. I placed double-sided tape right in the center here so that I can lay this correctly and straight. And you want to make sure that you have everything lined up nicely so that there's no opening here. Looks pretty good, so I'll go ahead and remove the paper from the top. And you're going to lay this down as straight as you can get it. That looks good. I'll go ahead and lift this up and then remove the paper on the other side. Push that zipper on the other side. And let's lay this down straight as we can get that. You want your zipper coils to be in the center of your openings down here. Okay, so now my lining pocket is open. Okay, I've got it laying here wide open. So I can just go ahead and sew around this box without having to move anything. Okay, and then when I come back, I will be bringing my pocket down like this, and then I'll be closing my pocket. So I did lose about an inch or so from this pocket, but that's fine. I'm gonna go to the machine. Again, my lining is open, and I'll go ahead and sew this box. All right, so this is what I have. Looks like this. So now I will be closing my pocket. So I'm just bringing this top pocket down, pressing, and then I will clip my edges, and I will be closing my pocket again because I'm doing the drop-in lining here. I will go ahead and sew. I'll sew with this right side up, and I'll lift this up and remove the tape that's right here, and I will sew down this edge and down the bottom and then up the other edge, and then I will trim off this bottom, okay? And then this pocket will be closed. All right. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is so cute. That looks really good, right? All right. So we are all done with this exterior, or the interior. All right, so go ahead and grab your other main lining, and then grab your lining gusset. Make sure that you mark the center of your gusset and also the centers of your lining panels, and we will start attaching our gusset. I'm not going to be using staples on this one because it's just waterproof canvas, so it should be pretty simple. I'm going to take my gusset and lay it so it's right sides together with my lining panel. And I'm going to go ahead and start clipping this together at my center mark. I will take the end of my gusset and bring it up to meet that top edge. Line that up. All right, and I'll do the same thing on this side. We'll bring this other side up to meet that straight edge. I am kind of taking the other side of my gusset and just kind of pulling it back. And then lifting this up. This is just a lot easier for me to do, to lift it up. We are going to go to the machine and we're going to sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so that has been attached. I don't have any pleating, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and take some scissors and trim down the seam allowance. I'm not going to do it up here because this is going to help attach the lining. So I'm going to come down just a little bit and just trim this down by half. All right, there we go. So now go ahead and grab your other lining, and you will match up that center and do the same thing and start clipping that edge. So I'll repeat the process that we did on the other side. All right, the lining is complete. Okay, everything is trimmed. I've got my measurements at the top for the drop-in lining method, and then I also did the same thing for the exterior. So now all we need to do is put the bag together, and if you are pulling your bag through, if you're birthing it through the pocket, you'll need to pay attention to that. Otherwise, we're moving on with doing the drop-in lining method. I'm going to go ahead and start off doing the lining first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing just a little bit at a time. And what we're going to do is the line that we made, we're going to take it and just fold it so that the edge meets that line. Okay, that's why I've got double-sided tape. You could use glue if you prefer, but I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. And when you get to the seam, I prefer to open my seam here. Since I'm using waterproof canvas, it does tend to fold pretty nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and pull just a little bit of the paper back on this side. We'll open the seam, and then I'll fold it in to meet that line. Okay, pull that off. All right, so the top of my lining is all folded in. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to set this to the side and start doing the same thing with the exterior. I'm going to go ahead and take my lining. This is the part where you'll decide what side you want your zipper pocket to be on. I want to put it on the pocket, not the pocket, on the opposite side of the other zipper. So I'm just sliding this in. This should fit in here nice and snug. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and combine our clips, but I'm going to find the center marks first. So now we can go ahead and take this to the machine, and we will top stitch along this top edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, y'all. So we are all done with the As You Wish. It looks so good. This might be one of my favorite bags I have ever made. It looks really good. Yeah, the only thing is that I forgot to push record as I was making the strap. So yeah, I was talking to myself and was thinking that I pushed the button and I didn't, so here we are. Now I just made a traditional strap because honestly it wasn't going to work because I didn't have the rectangle rings to attach here because I'm using the triangle rings, and it's fine. But make sure you check out the way Kathy did her strap. It looks really nice. I wish I could have done it that way, but I just didn't have the hardware, so that's fine. It is what it is. It still looks great. I love the way this came out. I think it's cool with the embroidered little scream face and then the black and white stripes with glow in the dark, which is so awesome. I'm gonna have to go and test that out. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed the marathon today. Stay tuned for who is next, which is Needle and Anchor. Needle and Anchor, and the link tree is in the description below. So if you missed anyone from before, or if there's someone you want to catch later on, make sure to check the link tree. All of the YouTube channels are listed, and also the times are listed as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!